Like, this is called the Pesky Report. Like,
welcome back to the Pesky Report, episode 606, presented by Beyond the Monster. I'm Jordan, joined by Brian. Brian, how we doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. I didn't think they'd sweep the Dodgers. I mean, I didn't see that one coming. I thought this would be where they'd finally, be the real Red Sox, but they kept it going.
Yeah, who'd have thought 6 weeks ago that the Red Sox would be at 60 wins before even like 80 losses, let alone they're now 60 and 51. They're 3.5 back of the first wild card spot and only 5 back of the American League East. As you just said, they swept the Los Angeles Dodgers in Chavez Ravine over the weekend. Fantastic series for this team. Rolling into the All-Star break, they've won 26 of their last 30 games. Stupid how good of a run that they are on. And it's their before we get into like actually recapping the series, it'd be foolish to not have any trade deadline discourse. We should start with that. Just curious, where we're at the time of recording. It's 10:34 p.m. So we're about 20 hours away, 19 and a half hours away from the deadline passing. 20 hours, I guess, before you can say that there are officially no more moves to be announced.
Yep.
Where we sit here, if you could pick one, like realistically, like we're not going to throw Ellie out there. We're not going to throw like anything ridiculous out there. Realistically, you can pick one player the Red Sox acquire before tomorrow's deadline. Who are you picking?
I think realistically, somebody they could actually grab. I know when you were here last week, Matt and I talked about it. The guy Jeffers there from is it the Twins? I guess the catcher there. I mean, he'd be a nice addition. He's not a big move, but he's a supplemental move. I mean, you love the shortstop from Cincinnati. You'd have to give up the farm for him. You know what I mean? Maybe you can get like a left-handed reliever, maybe, or then they had the whole thing with Hicks and Alcantara, and that kind of got shot down. That would have been pretty cool. But I mean, as far as something that's actually like realistic, I think if you can get something, you can get a catcher who can do something in the lineup, lengthen the lineup a little bit. I think that would be a big ad for them.
Yeah, and I think the big difficulty with acquiring a catcher in the middle of the season, and it's talked about every single time in the future, is they have to learn the entire pitching staff kind of on the fly mid-season, and that's very difficult. That's something that's under talked about in the moment, but something that's always talked about when it comes time to actually making that move. What I like about Jeffers, in addition to the fact that he mashes, is the fact that he has actually caught Sonny Gray the fourth most of any catcher in Sonny's career. So it's not like he'd be coming in blind. He's got familiarity with a guy. So you could DH him for a week, let him catch Sonny, have him sit a game, whatever. But you get that offense in the lineup. I would love Ryan Jeffers. Unfortunately, the Twins are buying right now, so I don't know if Jeffers is actually available, which is sad. But yeah, again, a week ago, 100% on board with Ryan Jeffers, and I would still absolutely trade for him. The guy that I have again, this has been over the course of the last 3 hours that I have changed my mind, and I'm full bore in favor of trading for this guy. And it was signified by the trade that they made during the series finale, Red Sox Dodgers. I'm all in on trading for George Springer.
Okay.
I want him badly, and I don't know what it would take to get him. The market for rentals is really weird right now, especially rental starters, but Springer being at bat, I don't know what it would take to get him. The haul that the Nationals got for Luis Garcia, and he's got one more year of control, was all right. I didn't think it was anything crazy. Is that like maybe a 1-for-1 Duran for Springer swap? They get an extra year of control or an extra 2 years of control in the outfield for an aging expiring George Springer? Is that something you trade a bunch of Rule 5 guys and maybe like one okay prospect? Like the guys I floated in one of my Red Sox group chats was like Blaze, Bastardo, Song, and then maybe like Jason White or somebody in that kind of caliber of prospect. But Springer, bona fide postseason masher, kills it at Fenway Park, expiring, local guy as well. And there's already been reports that he'd actually be open to getting traded to the Red Sox. Now he'd still have to approve it when the time comes, but I'm all in on George Springer, and it works out lineup wise because you could stick him at DH and then platoon Mai and Massa in left field until Roman comes back. Apparently, we have proof of life on Roman Anthony, so I'm starting to now foresee maybe like September 1st Roman comes back as opposed to 2030. But yeah, I'm all in on Springer. If I pick one bat, I'm picking George Springer realistically. Now, if Ellie's available, I'm obviously picking Ellie, but I don't think he is. So yeah, Springer's my guy.
No, I think that'd be a great move. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be a lot of fun, and we saw what he did last year in the postseason for Toronto, even on pretty much one leg.
Yep.
I would love him, but
sure.
Yeah. Going into the series recap now with the Dodgers. Before we get into that, this episode's also brought to you by TJ Stats, advanced MLB stats and tools, including pitcher summaries, prospect rankings, and live pitch data. Head on over to tjstats.ca and use promo code PESKY, P-E-S-A-Y, for 25% off your first month. Again, that's tjstats.ca, not .com, like the abbreviation for California, tjstats.ca. Game one was a little bit of a mixed bag. Rich Suarez wasn't particularly great. I mean, he didn't get through 5 innings, went 4 2/3, only a couple of strikeouts, gave up 3 runs, 4 hits. But the Red Sox, this has been a series of Ceddanne Rafaela. They win the series pretty much on his back. The breakout, it was fun getting him to the All-Star game. We did this last year with him, and then he didn't make it and then struggled in the second half. This year he did make it, and he's been tremendous so far to start the second half, and especially this series. What are some of your takeaways from game one of this series? What could be Ceddanne specific or just the Red Sox in general?
I think it's just nice to see the evolution of him. I mean, it was the kind of thing where if he's down with 2 strikes, he's going to strike out. Well, now he fouls off a ton of pitches now. He's hitting second now. It was kind of like, I know when he first came up, we're like, well, if he's like 50% of the player that Mookie Betts is, or if he does this, or if he does that, and it's like, well, no, he's his own player. I mean, they're probably the best outfielder I've ever seen them have. But I mean, he's putting the team on his back, and he's the number 2 hitter, and it's amazing what he's capable of. And he's cut down his strikeouts a ton. He's hitting for a decent average. He's kind of becoming the player I think that maybe people thought he kind of was, and he wasn't nationally. And he's able to carry the team, and whether it's him or Montero or any of these guys, the timely hits this team is getting, it's amazing. It's kind of like, okay, if they only need like 4 runs, they get it. If they only need 3 runs, they can get it. They're doing all these little things that they weren't doing earlier in the season. Suarez, he didn't go long in the game, but he didn't have to because they were able to pull it out.
Yeah, I'm a big. It's basically been like earlier in the season, everything that could go wrong in clutch games went wrong for the Red Sox, and then the last 6 weeks, it's been the exact opposite. Like they're finding ways to win games as opposed to finding ways to lose games, and that's why they're now 9 games over 500 after bottoming out at 14 games under. Just a crazy run that they're on right now. In their last 32, they're 27-5. It's just it's stupid the kind of run the Red Sox are on. And like you said with Ceddanne, I can formally apologize publicly for my very aggressive stance against Ceddanne as a player, just because I think I had Eduardo Nunez PTSD, where I watched that guy free swing at everything, and I'm like, yeah, when everything's clicking, you could get a pretty good year out of him offensively. But Ceddanne has already shown like he's willing to actually lay off some pitches, and then he's just better at getting to the baseball and even like spoiling bad pitches. Like he swings at too many pitches still. He's terrible at challenging. But oh my God, you make a mistake to him right now. He's making you pay. I think he's up now to 15 home runs on the season, one off a career high, or tying his career high from last year. He's been awesome. His OPS is now right around 800. He's hitting about 290, and then obviously the defense is still sublime. Like he's going to get ballot MVP votes.
Absolutely.
There's a real shot we're looking back at this season in November when the awards get announced, and Ceddanne Rafaela is an MVP finalist in the American League. There's a very real chance of that happening. It's not just being a homer. He's been that good, and it's been special to watch. And like I said, he kind of carried. The Red Sox scored 5 in the 7th inning to take the lead after being down at the time 4-3 going into the inning.
Yep.
And They added a run in the ninth inning to make it 9-4. That ended up being the final. And the winning pitcher in this game, and I want to give him some flowers as well because he's been really good even before he got optioned, especially as a bulk reliever. Brian Bayo, the pitcher of record in this one for the Red Sox, 4 scoreless innings, 3 strikeouts, only 3 hits and a walk. ERA down to 5.30. He's been real good.
Isn't he statistically the worst starting pitcher in baseball this year, but he's statistically the best reliever in baseball this year, or something weird?
I can find
something
that
like
out
that.
for you.
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter like that, and I was like, that is insane.
Yeah, let's see. So minimum 30 innings as a starter. Minimum 30 innings as a starter. Brian Bayo is the highest ERA.
Okay.
Of 10.35. So
is there a way to do it as a relief pitcher only when you pitch relief though? Can you see that, or you probably I don't know if you can do that.
Let's go minimum 30 innings as a reliever. He's number 2 in baseball in ERA at 0.69.
So he's the worst and the best. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. 10.35 starting pitching ERA. That's the worst in baseball. Minimum 30 innings. 0.69 ERA as a reliever. That is second in baseball. First American League, minimum of 30 innings.
Right.
Pitched 39 innings as a reliever this year.
Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts. And it's clear, again, I think it's funny with Bayo because it's so easy to get roped into, just reacting to the results, which makes sense. It's a results business.
Right.
This is a talented dude. There's a reason he had a mid-3 ERA last year. He's a good pitcher. Something happened with him in the first inning. I don't know if there was just some mental block that happened with Ben Rice crushing him in the first inning of that playoff start last year, because he just can't figure out the first inning. But God damn, you put him in the 4th inning, and that's his first inning of the game. He's razor sharp. And again, he was the pitcher record in this one, 4 shutout innings. Again, his ERA for the season is down to 5.30. And his under-the-hood metrics are starting to round into form pretty well. His strikeout stuff is ticking up towards where it was last year. His walks are at a career best, save for 2023, best since 2023. And yeah, he's been really good. Not even just these last few times out. Really since the end of May. His only 2 bad outings in his last 11 or his 2 starts he had. You seeing anything different with him, or is it just a matter of instead of getting torched in his first inning of work, he's just not giving up runs in his first inning?
I think the last couple of times I've seen him, the body language was a lot better. I think right before he got sent down, there was a couple of times where he, maybe not to the level that Duran did with Contreras, but if something doesn't go the way he thought it would go, he just kind of doesn't deal. He deals with it a lot better. Where I think right before they optioned him down, I remember there was, I think it was 1 or 2 instances where he was just upset about stuff that, basically, kind of throwing his teammates under the bus, where he doesn't seem to be doing that at all. I think somebody that he respected, maybe in the organization, talked to him and said, listen, dude, just drop the attitude. You got the stuff. Don't show up your teammates, and things will be better, And he kind of figured it out. I mean, he went down to, Worcester and came back up. And like you said, he's been lights out ever since. But it's funny, if he starts a game, though, it's just for whatever reason, he just can't do it. And I don't know if that's mental or what it is, but the frustrating thing is you see him pitch multiple innings very well. And he just backed up the stats, you brought them up. The evidence is there. It's just a matter of how do you get that out of the first inning. And he's done this in prior years where he's been okay. He's had some really good years. He has really good stuff. Just don't compare him to Pedro Martinez. Don't think he's going to be a strikeout pitcher. If you get that out of your head and don't make those comparisons and let him just be like a Derek Lowe contact pitcher, I don't know, whatever, just whoever you want to call. He's not Pedro Martinez. And once you just drop that, then there's no pressure on him and just let him do his thing. And he's a good pitcher.
Yeah, he's a very good pitcher. He's not going to win the Cy Young ever. He's not going,
which is okay. Perfectly fine.
He may never be an all-star. That's totally fine. There is nothing wrong with not being an all-star. A lot of people make a lot of money and pitch a lot of important innings and never make the all-star team. And yeah, since going back to May 5th, Brian Bayo's ERA is 3.31. Yep. And I'm gonna read you the earned runs by outing, and I want you to let me know what you think the 2 starts are in the stretch, okay? I'm gonna go in reverse order just for
Okay.
fun. So we got
Okay.
0, 0, 1, 8,
Oh,
0, 0, 7, 1, 1.
well,
Take a guess as to which 2 outings those starts were.
I'm guessing the 8 and the 7, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's I don't know what the deal is with him in the first inning, but you basically take every other inning, and he's the guy he was last year. Like the strikeout stuff is what it is. It's not particularly impressive, but just to filter through his numbers for the season, this year his ERA outside of the first inning is 3.93. Like is that great? No. Is that more than passable for a big league arm? Absolutely. He's a big league pitcher, and he did really well in a game where you needed him to put up zeros. He pitched the final 4 innings of the game. You brought him in down 4-3. He pitched 0 in the bottom of the 6th. He scored 5 runs to go up 8-4, and he threw a shutdown inning in the 7th, scoreless 8th. He put up another run in the 9th, and he pinned down a victory for you. They're going to need him in this half, especially if they're unable to acquire another starter at the deadline before the deadline tomorrow, or I guess today, at the time of people listening to this.
Right.
It's been a roller coaster of a ride with the 2026 Red Sox and Brian Bell specifically. But he's been awesome, really, again, since the beginning of May when they stopped letting him start games outside of those random 2 where he gave up 15 earned runs in those 2 games combined. But yeah, again, Red Sox win this one by a final score of 9-4. Duran had 2 hits, drove in 2 runs. Monasterio only 1 hit, but drove in 2. Narvaez drove in a run. And Yoshida was 2 for 5 and drove in a run as well. Scary sight. In his second at bat, Wilson Contreras took a fastball off the skull. Well, not the skull. It hit his helmet behind the ear. But entered concussion protocol. He did not end up playing game 2. Was back in the lineup for game 3, but did not play in game 2. Any final thoughts on game 1 before we roll into game 2?
No. What I noticed was, and I talked to Bailey about this. I don't know if it's something about the cameras at Dodger Stadium, or maybe it's because I was watching it with the FiOS and the 4K and the HDR. It looks amazing on television. There's something different about the games there. I don't know how many you've seen or you listen to them or how you were consuming the games, but they look very different. I don't know how to explain it, but they look amazing on television.
Yeah, the Dodgers do it right out there. Like everything about them is beautiful. Very annoying how they do business, but yeah, everything about them is beautiful. That ballpark's beautiful. I can go out there, and visit it at some point, in the future. Probably not next year. Maybe in 2028 when the Sox go back out there. But yeah, it brings us into game 2 of the series. Going into the series, I just didn't want to get swept. 1 game was all I asked of this group, and I was going to be over the moon with 2. Well, you strike first again in this one against Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Cesar Rafaela, first inning home run. We already went a few minutes talking about Cedon. He was a machine in this series.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then Tolle gave up 2 runs right back in the bottom of the 2nd. Oscar Hernandez went opposite field off of him for a home run. He always has killed the Red Sox. There's no surprise there that he got Peyton, who actually ended up having a really good start. But then Cedon tied it with another home run in the 3rd inning. He's on one of those heaters to even the score at 2, and that's where the score held until the 8th inning. But Peyton Tolle went 6 innings of 2-run ball in this game, striking out 7. What do you see for Tolle in this start?
I thought he pitched great. What I like about Tolle, he's done it a couple times. He gives up some runs early, but he doesn't like turtle like Bayo used to, or some of these other guys where they give up a few runs and it just snowballs. He's perfectly okay with giving up 1 or 2 runs, letting it just maybe it's his personality, I don't know, but just he lets it bounce off and then he gets back in the zone. That's very, very hard for anybody, whether whatever you do for work. When you face adversity, people, that's when you crumble, or that's when you have a hard time. But he's got a great knack for giving up a couple hits, giving up a home run or whatever, and he's kind of shrugs his shoulders, all right, and then he goes back to work, and then he's able to pitch multiple innings after that. I think it's one of his best traits.
Yeah, he's clearly not fazed by the moment or by the by the bright lights, no matter what ballpark he pitches in, whether it be Fenway or, again, the Dodger Stadium has become one of the like meccas of baseball. Basically like Shohei Ohtani, like it's still a star-studded lineup. Like Freddie Freeman's a beast, and he got him for a couple of hits in this game. But again, the Red Sox have been dominating on the mound all season long, and he's been kind of the epicenter of that since Crochet's gone down. He had a couple of rough outings in a row, but he's really righted the ship. Another quality start for him. Guy to monitor as we get deeper into the year because of the innings that he's already logged this year. But crazy to think that entering the year, this man did not make the opening day roster. Johan Oviedo, a man who doesn't even exist, made the opening day roster over Peyton Foley, and he's been a machine all year except for a couple of outings. I think this was his first start since they traded Connolly early. Maybe we need to stop writing. Maybe we need to stop writing fan fiction about our players and trust that these guys can be professional and just go out and perform, even if their best friend got moved. But we're again this kind of a snooze fest for the most part after some fireworks early. The Red Sox as a team went 4 for 30. They scored their third run of the game in the 8th inning on a double play ball from Connor Wong. Were you at all surprised seeing how the Dodgers were aligned defensively? Like, I watched that double play 4 or 5 times, and I'm amazed Mookie didn't attack that to try and catch it in the air, because you gave up the go-ahead run in the 8th inning.
Yeah, the Dodgers do some weird things. They're almost like too big to fail. Like their offense is like so overwhelming, and their pitching, they got so many guys. But like, it's almost like, I'm not saying they got to overcompensate, but I mean, they need all those horses. Like they don't get like utility and role players like that other teams do that like play out of their mind like a Steve Pearce. They just go out and get a bunch of studs, and kind of like how the Yankees used to do back in the day, kind of throw them in the hat and hope it all works out. But then you see stuff like that, and you're like, okay. But Jordan, for me, I look at their lineup. I mean, Freeman's been hitting the ball like crazy through this series, but like Betts, he's not doing anything this year. Teoscar has 13 home runs. He's hitting like 230 or 40, something crazy. Like the cumulative stats, they're just not there. And I mean, it's I know offense is down in general, and like the Nationals, I think up to this point have like the best offense in baseball, which I just think is kind of funny. I guess it's like Japanese baseball. It's a pitcher's league now, pretty much. I mean, I think just offense is down across the board. But I don't know. That defensive line was a little funky. I mean, I still think it's amazing that Betts can just say, okay, I want to play shortstop now, and he can do it and do a good job at it too. But Ohtani, he missed some games, and he's DHing, and they said his knees bothering him. He's not running as much as he did. I don't know. I'm not saying this is going to be the last year for the Dodgers. Going to get Skubal. I mean, that's going to help. But I don't know. It's almost like when the Yankees are really good, you want to see them lose only because they have everything possible going for them.
Yeah, and I was gonna save the Skubal talk till after we finish talking.
Yeah,
about
we can talk about that.
So just to put a bow on, Justin Slayton pitched a scoreless 7th. Tyron Guerrero pitched a scoreless 8th. Basically sitting 102 because that's just what he does now.
Amazing.
Chapman for the first time in what feels like 1,000 years, a clean 9th inning in a 1-run game to get his 27th save of the year. Lowered his season ERA. By the way, this guy's been way worse than he was last year. His season ERA is 1.67, and he has 27 saves and 29 tries.
This year for me, though, Jordan, Chapman has like that last couple of years we had Papelbon, where like there's never a clean inning, Like it just it's so uneasy. It's not like when Papelbon first came on the scene as a closer, or even last year with Chapman. And you're right. You're like, oh, he's so much worse. And you always kind of feel a little uneasy when he comes in the game. But you look at the numbers, and it's like they're not that bad. It just you're so used to last year where it was all automatic,
Yeah. And one thing I found interesting about the Red Sox, because remember that 3-year period where they were just trotting out anybody that had an arm to close games, like it was Brandon Workman in 19. We had a brief period of Ron Brazier, then that Matt Barnes run. in 2021. I will forever take that as a win for me because I was a Matt Barnes truther for years.
Sure.
But the Red Sox habitually just like spawn, or not spawn, but they just always have a Hall of Fame level closer on the roster, except for like that 3-year period. Because if you think back to like you had Papelbon, I know he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's like about as good a non-Hall of Fame closer as a closer can get. He was damn good for his entire career, except for like a couple years. Then you go, and then even when you had Papelbon, you brought in Billy Wagner for like that half-year stretch. You lose Pap. Koji wasn't a Hall of Famer, but damn, did he pitch like one when he was in Boston?
That's right.
From Koji to Kimbrel, Kimbrel's going to be a Hall of Famer in all likelihood.
But
Then you had that.
But Kimbrel had that blip too, where it was like in 2018, it was like just don't pitch. Like it was scary watching him pitch.
Yeah, that was especially in the playoffs. It was just not. It was not pretty. Although when he came into a 1-run game, he generally was fine. And then they had him, I think that Astros outing that Benintendi saved his bacon. I think they gave him like a 5-out save. And for he was never good if you asked him to do more than 3 outs, which, whatever. I mean, we knew that going in with him, but yeah. But then you have that 3-year window where it's Workman, Brazier, Barnes, whoever, anybody with a pulse. 2022, we got like Gary Familia for like a few weeks, and Yaxel Rios got some run in that spot. Tyler Danish, I remember him getting some closing spots, and I wanted to die every single time. Jake Diekman got the first save opportunity in 22. Like, ridiculous run of closer options. Hansel Robles.
Yeah, that's the name I remember, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Kenley for 23 and 24, and then Chapman for the last couple of years. Just the Red Sox just always seem to have a Hall of Fame level closer, except for like that 3-year period between Kimbrel and Kenley.
Sure.
And it's just so even it's nice that even though with Chapman, as bad as he has looked at times this year, there's still a level of trust knowing that no matter how ugly it looks, that score is going to remain the same. Like that's gonna he's not gonna give up any runs, and if he does, you enter the 2 or 3 run lead. Like he just doesn't. Outside of that Rockies outing where they gave up 8 straight hits between Whitlock and Chapman. He just doesn't blow saves. He's just really damn good. Very thinking back to when he signed, I know a lot of it was stuff that had to do with off the field.
Yep.
But that has turned out to be a tremendous piece of business done by Craig Breslow, going for him instead of Tanner Scott, who everybody, myself included, wanted instead of Chapman.
That's right.
But yeah, for me, last thing on this game, and I'll throw it to you if you have any final thoughts. They only had 4 hits, but they only struck out 3 times against Yamamoto in 8 innings, which I think is impressive as hell. The contact wasn't necessarily great, but this team strikes out like it's their job to strike out, and they face one of the best pitchers in the sport, and they only strike 3 times. They had one fewer home run than they had strikeouts in this game. That's pretty impressive. But any final thoughts before we talk about the Red Sox bullying the Dodgers into trading for Skubal?
It's just amazing. They got 4 hits, and I think the Dodgers got 10, and they beat them, right?
Yeah, Dodgers finished with 10 hits.
That doesn't happen like ever. Yeah, that's just amazing. It's the timely hitting. It's the stuff that's happening now in July and now in August that wasn't happening in April and May and June.
Yeah, it's been quite the turnaround for sure. And as I mentioned, and as you also mentioned, Brian, the Dodgers then traded for Tarik Skubal. Actually, before the game even ended, they had traded for Tarik Skubal. So yeah, what were your initial reactions? I was watching Spider-Man when that news came in, so I had to temper my reaction. But what were your initial thoughts going through your head when that happened?
It had been talked about for a while, and I think everybody kind of saw it coming. I was a little underwhelmed with the return, but I guess it's only for 3 months. But and not that they need more pitching, but I mean, what do you think? What's the Red Sox equivalent of that deal that they have now? Like for prospects, who would they have to give up?
Well, the Red Sox don't have the depth in their farm, so I'd say probably if you're talking like overall value, that probably have been like Arias and then like some random floated like intriguing arm, maybe like Arias and Marcus Phillips.
Okay,
Yeah, probably. like Skubal, and without any sort of guarantee that you're going to get Crochet back in the rotation, I honestly would have heavily considered that if given the opportunity. But I can see why
Right.
the Red Sox kind of stayed away.
But I think that the guys the Dodgers, the Tigers gave up or whatever, or the guy the Dodgers gave up for Skubal, they weren't like their number one picks, were they were like 5, 12, and 17 or something. I mean,
Yeah, I think
I know the Dodgers have a better farm system than we do, but I didn't think he'd have to go Arias level to get the job done for the duration that he's with. If it was like he had a year or two on his contract or something, then absolutely. But I mean, maybe I just looked at it numbers of the guys they gave up, but it didn't seem like that the guys they gave up were that impressive. It wasn't like the Mookie Betts trade; it wasn't that crazy, but it wasn't like their top 3 guys, you know.
yeah, so on TJ Stats and promo code Pesky over there, 25% off your first month. Zaire Hope is ranked 21st nationally.
Okay.
That's I'm also using this as an excuse to mention that Franklin Arias is listed as the number 1 prospect in the game on TJStats.ca.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if you want something to gloat about, head on over there and screenshot that and throw that on Twitter. Get some likes and reposts on that. But yeah, Zaire Hope, the number 21 prospect. That's the only top 100. Oh no, sorry, I lied. River Ryan is the number 35 prospect as well. Though River Ryan is an old man. I don't even know if it's fair to call him a prospect anymore. I know that he's like service time wise hasn't played enough to not be a prospect. That man's 28 years old. Like I saw a tweet. I think it was I don't remember who I saw it from. I don't want to misattribute it. And it was kind of tasteless. So I'll save throwing somebody. But basically it was like I remember seeing Dodgers fans talk about this guy like he was untouchable, but the Dodgers traded for Tarik Skubal, and one of the top prospects they gave up was a guy who could feasibly tell you where he was on 9/11. Like this man was born in 1998, and they just traded him for Tarik Skubal. This guy's older than me. And he's the number 30. I mean, he's a good pitcher, 100%. The Tigers didn't get nothing for Skubal. I think it's a good trade. Both teams will look back on it and be very happy with the piece of business. But yeah, I think if we're talking value wise, that would probably be like Arias and Marcus Phillips, or maybe even Kyson with Arias. If we're talking overall value,
Okay.
So I can see why the Sox stayed away, even if I would have heavily considered it, knowing I'm also a fan reacting to how good they've been over the last month and a half.
What do you think of guys like Otto Lopez or some of the other shortstop names have been thrown about? I mean, I think the idea is with Arias. Do you think that he's going to be as good as those guys, or if he is, just don't trade him, just keep him? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really love the shortstops out there enough. I like Otto Lopez a lot. Would trade Marcelo for him. Would trade Marcelo and like other prospects. I'm not talking like just 1-for-1. To trade Arias for Otto Lopez, I would need something else back from Miami. I've seen a lot of people float Alcantara. For me, it'd be Max Meyer. I don't want Alcantara. I think I'm going to get some heat for this. I floated this. I soft launched this take in a group chat and got absolutely torn apart for it. I think current Sandy Alcantara is not all that different from like positive regression Brian Bayo. Like the guy you're going to get the rest of the year out of Bayo is probably about as good, if not slightly better than Sandy Alcantara. You're just not getting him in the first inning. So you have to throw Giovanni Moran out there for an inning and then
I think the reason people like Alcantara is because what he used to be, maybe not what he is currently, but he also, I'm pretty sure he leads like the National League like in innings, which is amazing because he's coming off an injury. And I mean, I think he averages like 6.5 innings a start, which it doesn't sound that impressive, but if you look at like what the league average is now, I think it's like the best in baseball in one of them. It's up for the National League anyway. I know it's at the top. So that would definitely help because then it takes a lot of pressure off the bullpen. And So I could see why they would make that deal. But I know they were talking about Hicks, but Hicks defensively is not great at all. He's going to hurt you, not help you. I think the bat's great, but the defense is horrible. And then there's was it Luis Ariz or whatever from San Francisco, but I mean whatever. I don't know. I mean, Story's going to come back and he just play second, maybe. I don't know. Monastero's they're riding that hot hand now. He's doing okay right now, but he'll get exposed, I think, if he plays every day for the rest of the season. I don't know what they're going to do. I know Matt was talking about how they're not going to bring up Arias because of the lockout, and if they do bring him up, he can't play in the minor leagues next year. I'm wondering, at what point they don't care because he's just the best option.
Yeah, I think Alex Spear brought this up in the A's series that he's kind of like the emergency break glass safe option. If you don't get a middle infielder at the deadline and none of those other guys come back and Monasterio bottoms out or gets hurt, they'll probably still put Sogard there first. And then if that doesn't work, then you probably bring Cheng back up. And if that doesn't work, then you go to Arias at that point. And even still, because of what Matt brought up with him not being able to play in the minor league season, if you bring him up and there's a lockout, I wonder if you'd even see Mikey get an opportunity before Arias. And I'm not to say that Mikey's a better player than Arias, but I wonder if you would feel less a type of way about Mikey missing some time to start next year due to a lockout versus Franklin Arias. I don't know. But the shortstop market's really weird because Lopez is the only shortstop, true shortstop that's available. You would trade for him and you'd keep him there.
Right.
Abrams is a second baseman. He's not a shortstop. He's playing shortstop, not a good one. Mashes could absolutely live with him at shortstop in a short-term window, but he's a second baseman. Zach Neto, I would probably keep him on the left side of the infield. I'd put him at third. I think he's got a strong enough arm, but then you're moving Turbin off of third base, and he's a Gold Glove third baseman.
Zach Neto got up, I think, today with the bases loaded versus the Yankees, and then I think he got up with a guy on second and third. And the Yankees won 2-1. And I was like, if he just got one fucking hit,
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of other guys out there. Ariz is playing a solid second base this year, but Jack has alluded to this many times in recent episodes. If you get him away from Ron Washington, is he just going to go back to being the pumpkin he is at second base historically? Because put Ron Washington in the Hall of Fame for that alone, getting him to play a Gold Glove second base. But the market for middle infield is just not that great to me as far as trading Arias for them. If you could sell, I'd almost rather trade Marcelo and Ianson than Arias because I think Arias is your shortstop future. And
does Marcelo have any value right now? I mean, he's talking about tanking the value. I mean, he's a good player pedigree wise where he was drafted, but talk about a guy that the value is just tanked. It's amazing.
Yeah, I saw somebody report. I don't remember who it was. Somebody reported that Marcelo at this point would be viewed as a trade throw-in. I think it was the Boston Globe actually reported that, which is possible. I'm sure that's possible that would be his value within the league. But if you're floating him as a guy with top 25 pedigree, was a top 5 pick in the draft, and you're getting Ianson, I think the lure of Marcelo Meyer has a little bit of an uptick. If you're I'm also getting one of the fastest risers in the minor league system or the minor league ranks as a starting pitching prospect as well. I think you could either get a team that's a little higher on Ianson, even if they're low on Marcelo, and overall you'd probably get out a very similar place. I would just rather do that duo than trade Arias because I was here in the offseason when they were talking about trading Marcelo and Connolly for Ketel Marte. I thought Franklin Arias was the shortstop of the future of the team. I'm even more on board with that now that he's added power because he hasn't lost anything at shortstop. He's not lost much as far as his hit tool is concerned. I'm not trading him unless it's a multiple young controllable assets or a superstar in the prime of their career. If for whatever reason the Astros decide tomorrow they want to be stupid and trade Yordan Alvarez, 100% would trade Franklin Arias for him. If the Royals were oh man, Bobby Witt Jr. has told us that when his opt-out kicks in a few years, he's 100% going to opt out. We should trade him for a star shortstop prospect while we can. I would 100% trade him for Bobby Witt Jr. I'm not trading Franklin Arias for Otto Lopez. I'm just not doing it. I think Franklin Arias, like, there's the talk about prospects. Sorry, I know I'm rambling here. There's the talk about prospects. It's like, yeah, he could be a great player. He could even be so-and-so, fill in the blank player. Like Franklin Arias could be great. He could even be as good as Otto Lopez. I think his ceiling is higher than Otto Lopez. I'm not trading him unless I'm getting another piece back. And it would have to be like a good piece. Like I'm not talking Otto and Anthony Bender. I'm talking Otto Lopez and Max Meyer. Or if the Marlins would be stupid and trade Aori Perez. Even Sandy I'd consider, although I'd rather it be one of the younger arms. I'm all out on trading Arias unless a superstar. Also, just to float the name back out there, if Ellie's available, I would do that. If Gunner's available, I would do that. I'd even consider him for Adley, but I'm not trading him for Otto Lopez.
No, I think that's the way to do it. I mean, I think that you're really going to be blown away, and I don't think you're going to be. I think you're better off holding on to him. I mean, I'm selfish and I want to see him play this year, but I understand the cooler heads are saying, hey, we have a lockout till May or June, then he's just going to sit around and do nothing. I mean, he won't be. He'll be doing something somewhere, but I won't be at the major league level, which is going to kind of suck. So I think reality's starting to set in that there is going to be a lockout. So I'm trying to enjoy this run as much as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder how much pressure is on the front office to also do that, knowing that there's an impending lockout with no real foresight as to when it's going to be resolved. I know we've talked a little bit about any bats that we like, and then we can jump into game 3 after. But is there any arms in particular, whether it be on the starting or bullpen side, that are catching your attention as we get closer to the final hours of the deadline?
Not really, no, but sometimes it's the deals you don't make. I mean, we just got through talking about Arias, but wasn't the deal last year Arias and Tolley for Joe Ryan? I mean, thank God they didn't make that fucking move. That would have been catastrophic.
Yeah, and Joe Ryan's had a really good year, but you think you wouldn't have Arias or Tolley, or maybe even Sonny Gray too.
Right.
Because if you had Joe Ryan, would you have felt incentivized enough to trade for Sonny? Not that Joe Ryan's not a better pitcher, but I think Sonny's been fantastic, even if he hasn't been super sharp, the last couple of times out.
Right.
For me, I think what I've learned in the second half so far is you kind of have to proof your rotation with a veteran because you've got so many young guys that are kind of logging big, like Bennett and Tolley, and like Patrick Sandoval is fresh in the sense that he's barely pitched in 2 years, but he's a guy you're building up. Do you really want to have him pitching big innings in September and October for this team? No, when Crochet's coming back. Sonny looks like he's kind of lost a little bit. I'm sure he's a pro. He'll figure it out, but he may not be as sharp as he was those like 8 weeks in a row. I would love to get another starter in here, even just a guy that can give you like 4 to 5 innings a pop, just to kind of, you can stretch out like rest days. Like Bennett can go every 6 days, Tolley can go every 6 days, and maybe it's Bayo. Maybe you're just gonna ride an opener day, and that's just how you figure it out. But like Clay Holmes is a guy that's come up in some circles that I've read.
Right.
That's a guy that has pedigree as a reliever and a closer. He's been an all-star as a reliever for the Yankees.
Yep.
So a guy that you could have pitch 4 to 5 innings every 5th day, and then in the playoffs, you're going to get a dominant inning of relief out of him. Evaldi, if the Rangers want to sell, I know they just got swept by the Astros and they're no longer in a playoff spot.
That'd be a nice name, yeah.
Yeah, Evaldi, DeGrom, another guy over there. I would
just get them both. What the hell,
Yeah, bring in both. Poor Canolos Dos. Ball's a guy that I liked. Obviously, the Rays traded for him, so that's out of the question now. Waka, another guy that makes sense. He'd probably be like last of the names that I just mentioned.
Right.
But yeah, and then bullpen wise, Luke Weaver's really the guy that I really want, or Adrian Morejon. If although the Padres just rejected Will Warren for him, which is absurd. For a rental reliever opportunity to get a guy with 4+ years of team control as a starter, AJ Preller gets so much credit for being like this chaotic GM who's always making big moves. But I think we need to talk. There needs to be an honest conversation about how reckless he is as a GM. He's very good at his job. He just knows how to make a big trade. He has no problem making a big trade. I feel like if he were the one who he only rejected that offer of Adrian Morejon for Will Warren because he's not the one who suggested it. He seems like that much of an egotist to me.
Yeah, it could be.
And he gets so many chances over there.
That's right.
But yeah, but for me, it's really Luke Weaver's the only guy that's really catching my attention in the bullpen.
Okay.
Pirates are buying, so there's no, even though they have a couple decent arms out there I'd like, they're not going to trade any of them. Maybe Anthony Bender from Miami, although I can't imagine Red Sox players going to really appreciate the Red Sox making a deal with the Marlins, and it's only for Anthony Bender. But there are a few arms I like out there. It'd be nice to get one more guy you can throw in leverage spots and then one more veteran at the end of the rotation. But for me, again, George Springer's the guy I want. Get him, and I could care less what else you do tomorrow. But all right, ready to talk about Game 3?
Let's do it.
All right, going into this one, felt like the Red Sox were kind of playing with house money going into tonight's game. You know, you already won the series, and you had, Jake Bennett, who's been looking more human late against Emmett Sheehan, who is okay, but a former top prospect as well. And the Red Sox just laid belt to ass to Emmett Sheehan. And what were your thoughts going on through that first inning?
Yeah, I heard about his stats going in, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this the same guy that I know about? But yeah, they just were like, oh, we don't give a shit about who this guy is. And, it's just so strange. Like, the Dodgers are back-to-back World Series champions, and the Red Sox just walk in there like, we don't give a shit. We're just going to do what we want. We're going to score some runs. And that's what they did. And then, it's funny. I was listening to the game on XM radio. So I was listening to the Dodgers broadcast. And they're just like blown away. They're like, wow, like this Red Sox team, like where is this coming from? Like they're so, and, they're kind of like trying to talk up the Dodgers, and they're like blown away. And then you go back and I hit FM in the car, and then it goes back to the Red Sox broadcast. And, as soon as somebody hits a home run, they lose their shit. And I mean, how many home runs were hit tonight? Was it 4 or 5 home runs, I think, or something crazy? Yeah, 4. Yeah. And I love like Will Fleming because he just loses his shit on the radio. It's amazing to see how, he goes bonkers. And I don't know, it was so much fun. It felt like, I know it's not because it's way too early. It felt like watching the World Series because it was like the Red Sox are stepping up in these moments and they're just crushing the Dodgers. And it's like, I want to bottle this up and just sprinkle this on, my Frosted Flakes, or my Cheerios in the morning when I'm having like a bad mood, or if my daughter's crying and having a bad day. I'm like, hey, look at this Red Sox Dodgers series. Like, it's perfect. Like, it's like so month week. Still, I know we're in August now, so it's like, a different month. But I hope looking back, people realize how good this was and how nice this was. And what's like the craziest thing too, Jordan, to keep going on and on, I think it was not today, but yesterday with the win they had, they were 57 and 51 like 3 years in a row or something at this point in the season, or some stupid stat, which is like, how is that possible? How the hell is that? How can you couldn't do that on purpose?
Yeah, I Adam Peller and Vesson tweeted it out. It's actually 4 years in a row, going back to 2023, 57 and 51 through 108 games. And I jokingly responded with, this is a new Chris Davis, the A's Chris Davis, batting 247. And I looked at Chris Davis's Fangraphs page, and he actually did hit 247 4 straight years. So it was a little too on the nose. So next year, look for the Red Sox to be like 57 and 52 or 56 and 52 through 108 games, because the year after Davis hit 247 4 years in a row, he hit 244. So they'll be close.
It's just a crazy stat. It's right up there with like Tyler O'Neill hitting home runs on opening day. Like, it's just these weird things in baseball that happen and nobody can explain why.
Yeah, few guarantees in life, but the Red Sox being 57 and 51 after 108 games is looking like one of the guarantees in life. And the fact that they were able to take that and then run like this, the beauty of this run for me is like we've been used to the Red Sox rolling into the All-Star break and then they come out of the break and they're terrible. Like the 2 weeks going into the deadline, the reason why it's like, oh, we don't really know what they're going to do is because they defined themselves as buyers going into the break, and then they sputtered so badly out of it that they almost played themselves into being sellers. Couple years that they probably should have sold and didn't. Couple years they should have bought and they really didn't. But this year they rode they rode that hot stretch into the All-Star break. Then they came out of the break and they were like liked winning so much, we just decided to continue doing it. And like I said, they're now 27-5 in their last 32. And they have gone from 14 games under 500 to now 9 games over. They're 60-51. Who would have thought, again, that the Red Sox would have 60 wins before 60 losses, 6 weeks ago? I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought that we may be going into September with them still fighting for a possible 60 because of how bad that things were looking and like the impending sell of like everybody that was worth a damn to this team. And now it's like, how do you find a way to buy without completely, ruffling the feathers of the like what's kind of made this team as good as they've been? Like Anthony Siegler's already lost his kind of standing within the team because he's not playing particularly well, but the energy he brings to the ballpark is contagious. They love the guy. Very clearly a popular dude in the dugout. But you brought in Curtis Mead, that was going to completely nuke his playing time. Mead's now hurt, but you still got to add at the deadline. So then that's going to probably affect Moss's playing time. And Moss has been playing really well lately. Or if you add a shortstop, Monasterio, who's been awesome for, like, he was literally a top 5 hitter in the month of July. Andre Monasterio was. So you bring in a shortstop, he's not playing really anymore. And it's a good problem to have. Like, go get the talent, figure it out later. Ideally, you get either a shortstop because Monasterio, I don't see him sticking as the top 5 hitter in baseball the rest of the season, or another outfielder, or just a guy that can put Yoshida and Jahmai Jones in a platoon field. And ideally, Roman comes back at some point. The last update being that he's swinging off of a tee, which is nice because that is better than he can't even grip a bat without pain.
Well, that was the big thing. He wasn't going to swing until he was pain free, and if he's pain free, that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, if he's pain free and he's swinging off of a tee, I don't know. I mean, he hasn't played since early May, and he hasn't really. I don't think he's faced live pitching since the last game he played. So I have no idea how far tee work is from live BP. I mean, it'd be kind of interesting to see, like, if we get any sort of, like, video of, like, Tanner Houck pitching to him, because Houck's apparently throwing 4 times a week, and he's up to 40 pitches off mound.
Okay.
So we're talking about adding bullpen arms. Maybe Tanner Houck is a guy that factors into that role as well. And a guy
that'd be a nice bullpen arm to add if he's got his shit together, because it was like he's got 2 pitches, and the third pitch is it's there, and sometimes it's not. But, if he comes out of the bullpen doing what Tanner Houck type things, that's a pretty good acquisition.
Yeah, for sure. And then, again, is there any bat out there that's as good as Roman Anthony that you could acquire at this deadline, unless, like, again, something unforeseen happens and a superstar is available? Yep. Probably not. Maybe CJ?
Do you think Story does anything when he comes back, or do they just kind of let him right off in the sunset, or what's going to happen with him?
I think they're likelier to kill him than they are to, like, let him play for them again this year. Like, I saw the report that came out that they were like, we're not expecting literally anything from him at all the rest of the year, which, like, fair enough. He was really bad before he got hurt. But, like, I don't know. I'd rather they attack other areas of need and then take a shot that he's gonna give you, like, a few weeks. Because if there's one thing Trevor Story is good for, it's like a 3-week run where he just can't get out and he hits a bunch of home runs. Just hope for when he comes back, he has like that week where he can't hit, and then he has that 3-week run where he can't get out. That lines up perfectly with the playoffs. You just hit him like 8th in the order, and he just hits, like, he goes 1 for 4 every game, but that one hits like a 3-run double or a 2-run homer. And just kind of hope for the best there, because he actually produced in the playoffs last year. He hit that home run off Rodon, but I'm not expecting anything out of Trevor. No, but I would rather allocate resources into getting a catcher or George Springer and shoring up the pitching staff, and then just hoping for the best with Trev, because he's going to be here either way. You can't just keep a healthy player from coming back. You'll lose that grievance every single time.
Right.
And especially players respected as Trevor is within the clubhouse, within the league. You can't do that to him. He'll play again. I don't expect anything out of him, but he'll be back at some point. If he's healthy, he'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, back to the game here. Red Sox scored 2 in the first. RBI single from Yoshida, RBI single from Caleb Durbin. The Dodgers came back in the bottom of the second with 3 of their own. Fielder's choice, run, and then a 2-run double from Andy Pajes, brought in 2, made it 3-2. And then the Red Sox were like, hey, we hate losing. We're going to hit 3 home runs this inning. Sadon, another one for him. Willier homered on the next pitch. And then 4 pitches later, Yoshida homered. So they had 3 home runs in a span of 7 pitches.
Nice.
And yeah, I think Jason Benetti said it on the broadcast tonight. It was like they're playing small ball, but they're hitting enough home runs where you can really feel the pressure when they do play small ball. Because I think since the start of July, they're like 9th in home runs. And I don't know what tonight's game did to that ranking. They're 9th in homers since some point in July. I don't know if it's like July 1st or like since the winning streak started.
Right.
And which was July 3rd. So I guess that really doesn't matter what day we want to start that. And they're first in like sack bunts during that span. But it doesn't feel like they're homering so much. It feels like they're kind of grit and grinding their way to victories. But tonight they had 3 home runs in 7 pitches, and that was fun. I like home runs. I like.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, guaranteed. You're guaranteed to drive in at least 1 run on every single home run you hit. As much as I love singles as a way to avoid being out, I'd much rather a single than out. You still hit a few more of those to bring home a run, whereas a home run brings in 1 every single time.
That's right.
And then later in the game, Jarren Duran popped a home run because as much as he's done nothing, whenever he does something, it always drives in a run or 2.
It's amazing that he's second on the team in RBIs.
Yeah, is he having the best terrible year of all time? Like, it's got to be up there, no?
Yeah, it's as far as I can remember. I mean, I can't remember a guy. And like when you go to the games, they always flash that stat where he's like the only player to ever have 15 home runs and 10 triples or whatever the hell it is, and he did it twice. He's like the only guy in Major League history to ever do it. So you're like, so he's capable of being really good.
Mm-hmm.
But and like this year, it's really just the batting average, right? Because a lot of his other numbers are okay.
Yeah, he's hitting an even 200. He's got 0.1 WAR, but he's got 14 home runs and 57 runs batted in. So, as far as like counting goes, he's 4th on the team home runs. He's tied for 2nd on the team in runs batted in.
Yep.
He is tied for 1st. He's tied for the team lead in triples. He's only got 10 doubles. That's really where he's been lacking this year from a counting stat standpoint. Like Yoshida's got him beat in doubles, which is embarrassing for him. I just learned by looking at this that Andrew Monasterio has 19 doubles this year. What on earth?
Wow.
Is that? But yeah, like he's a guy who's again hitting 200. His OPS is 600 or 602. He's got 0.1 WAR. But like 14 home runs, 57 runs batted in, 15 steals. Like if I just gave you the 3 numbers, you'd be like, oh, Duran must be having a pretty good year. So like he's having a terrible year, but every hit he's got, he's finding a way to bring in runs. Like he's finding a way to impact the game. And his defense this year has been really good. That's the only reason his WAR isn't like -1 because he's not hit worth a damn. And yeah, I don't know if tonight was the last game we see Jarren Duran play for the Red Sox.
Right.
So that's another thing we got to consider as well. That very well could have been his final game with the Red Sox.
It could have been. I mean, he'll like Toronto, I mean, they'll embrace him. He'll be all right.
Yeah, imagine Duran getting ousted to Canada, just kicking him out of the country. Yeah, a Duran for Springer swap. Sign me up for that.
I'll do that. I like that move. I mean, I look at Springer's stats and I'm like, okay, but maybe it's a Toronto thing because like Guerrero can't hit for power anymore, like at all.
Yeah, he is. He's like 25 games away from having 0 home runs at home. 25 home games away, rather, from having 0 home runs at home. And like Springer got off to a really, really bad start this year. And there was like some bat speed concerns. He wasn't particularly hitting the ball hard. But since June 1st, he's slashing 266, 352, 455. That's entering play tonight, where he went for the double. Not a ton of extra base hits. He's got 14 extra base hits in that span. 15 if you count tonight. 7 home runs, 22 driven in. It's been good. It's been fine. Postseason killer, though.
But he's a guy, Jordan, though. If you put him in the Red Sox lineup and he plays at Fenway, he's going to turn it up. He's got old man Justin Turner vibes. Do you know what I mean? Like every time he gets up, like something's going to happen, you know?
I agree. He's a bona fide winner. Like time and time again, he has been given opportunities to come up in a clutch, whether it be in the playoffs or regular season. And time again, he's come through.
Right.
For his career, 271, 346, 534 slash line in the playoffs. He's got 23 home runs in 83 playoff games. So that's a near 40 home run pace that he's hitting at. His isolated power, which is just for those who don't know, that's just the difference between his average or how much of his batting average dedicated slug. So really it's just you subtract the average from the slug. That's your isolated power. 262. That's 53 points higher than it is in the regular season. So he turns it on in October. I can imagine, like we've seen some of the elite bat throws of Wilyer Abreu and like the bat tosses of Wilson Contreras. Like imagine a big home run of George Springer in October at Fenway Park with the Red Sox. We've seen him hit home runs against the Red Sox in October. I don't like those. I think he would be a very quick. Again, he's a local guy too because he went to UConn. Teammates with Matt Barnes. I'm sure people have never heard that fact before. I would love him. I think he'd quickly come in favorite in Boston.
It'd be the second most desirable thing I want from the state of Connecticut to enter Fenway. This number one is to get rid of Sal's Pizza and bring in Frank Pepe's. Because it's Sweet Caroline and Sal's Pizza. They both got to go. Those are my two things. That if we can get rid of those, I will not talk shit about John Henry ever again.
I love how you always find a way to bring up your distinct Sal's Pizza.
It's awful. Well, because I sit right next to the kiosk where they sell it. I'm right next to Canvas Alley, 20 times a year, and it's dog shit. It's complete awful pizza. It was Papagino's, which is the bar. It's worse than Papagino's' bad pizza, better than Papagino's' great pizza. Papagino's is okay. Yeah, they had Regina's, and I'm like shitting my pants because I'm like, oh my god, like Regina. I know it's not the real Regina's, but it was really good.
Yeah.
And now we get this Sal's crap, and it drives me fucking crazy.
We had Sal's Pizza for our school pizza day. Like when we had pizza day on Fridays.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Sal's Pizza. Obviously it's frozen Sal's Pizza, so it's not like right out of the grill. I've been to Sal's once. Like I've been to a Sal's Pizza once, and it was in Cooperstown. That place was slamming. So the fact that you have such a disdain for it tells me that it's either not the same Sal's Pizza or something bad is. I mean, granted, a different state, so just different people operating the joint. I have a hard time.
It's just like the one near Fenway. That's the idea. It's just awful. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, do you have Wonder near you? Those pop-up places where they have like a million. It's called Wonder. It's a food court where they have like a million different restaurants in like one stop. So they popped up everywhere. They're in Watertown, they're in Arlington, they're in Belmont, they're wherever. So basically they have this thing called Takala Pizza, which is like in Brooklyn, New York, which is amazing pizza. But it's frozen because it's at these kiosks now. So it's just not the same. It's like Sparrow's or something. It's awful. It's horrible pizza. But yeah, it's just someday I'm going to get rid of Sal's Pizza and Sweet Caroline. I don't know how I'm going to do it. That's my goal.
Two things the weekend show will never get, and it's a sponsor from Sal's Pizza or a guest appearance from Neil Diamond.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that. You could get Noah Khan if you wanted to. You could get Ed Sheeran. You could get the Killers. Like the Killers, like that's the song at Fenway. Like people lose their shit when they play that. Like it's awesome. Everybody likes it. It's hot. It's happening, you know. But Sweet Caroline, it's like, oh, I don't know, whatever.
You going to the game Tuesday?
I'm going August 5th. When is that?
So that would be Thursday.
I'm going Thursday.
I think depending on what they do tomorrow, I might go Tuesday.
Yeah.
If they have a big deadline, if they get George Springer and word comes out on Tuesday that he is playing, I will be there. There's no way I am missing. There's no way I am missing George Springer's Fenway Park debut as a Red Sox. There's just no shot. I would have to be like ousted as a Red Sox fan, sending me to wherever.
Does work think you're on jury duty now? Because I know you probably have reached the PTO limit for your job, right?
I actually have not. I'm actually using PTO tomorrow/today, the day of recording.
Oh my God.
I get 40 hours max of sick time a year.
Okay.
I have 12 hours left of that.
Okay.
But I've actually used it when I'm sick / doctor's appointments. So
Okay,
that's
all
not,
right. Okay.
I'm not like grifting anything there. But I can accumulate my vacation time, and I have a floating holiday.
Oh.
So the reason I have tomorrow off. Actually, I probably shouldn't say that because I don't know if I'll leave that.
Okay. Yeah. That's left unsaid. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have not used any. I don't have any vacation time I'm using tomorrow or my floating holiday. I'll leave it at that. So I have a wedding I'm going to in November. That's the last of the PTO I'm anticipating using, except for the half day I have to take at the end of the month for a doctor's appointment.
Yep.
But yeah, now that I've basically told the public my PTO. But the game Tuesday is at 7:00 or 6:40,
Okay.
so I should not have a problem getting there and still working a full shift.
Sure. Okay. Good.
should be
That's
fine.
everyone's main concern, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, just to get back to this game, Bennett was sharp. Bullpen did a job behind him. They used 5 relievers to get to the finish line after Bennett went 5 2/3.
Yep.
Guerrero was very close to pitching a scoreless inning. Andy Pages had a tremendous at bat, then doubled on a mistake pitch to drive in a run. But Wyatt Mills, sleeper agent Wyatt Mills, came in, did the Sox a solid, threw 2 wild pitches, or threw a wild pitch to bring home a run, and then passed ball to bring in another run, made it 8-4. And that's the final score of this one. Red Sox win 8-4, complete a sweep of the first place Dodgers, and are now 60-51 going into the deadline. Tremendous turnaround.
That's right.
Ridiculous. In the span of 6 weeks. Crazy. Crazy how much we've gone from sell the team. People literally were chanting "sell the team" at Fenway Park.
That's right.
Now the word "sell" might get you like put into like a torture device talking about the Red Sox.
Have you come to grips with the fact that now Craig Breslow looks great and John Henry looks good? Or you just that's a whole separate other issue. You're not even thinking about it. You're just thinking about the team winning. Can you give them any credit right now? Like, I have a hard time talking shit about Craig Breslow now because a lot of the moves he made are kind of working out.
Yeah, I think I had started to warm up to maybe not Breslow in particular. Like I still think there's some things about him that I don't like. Like I mean, the communication thing, he can figure that out over time.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, I mean, maybe it's just the fact that they're winning, but there seems to be fewer issues from front office to the dugout since Chad Tracy's taken over. I don't know if Trace and him just align more, or if they're just winning, therefore we don't have any issues because they're just winning games. But like you look at the offseason moves he made, like Contreras, home run, Ranger Suarez out to the injury that he missed like a few weeks. Been a fantastic move. Sonny Gray, awesome move. The decision to go to Chapman last year instead of Tanner Scott, fantastic move. Extending him last year instead of letting him hit the market again, awesome move. You would have lost the drawer. Someone would have given him 4 years. Fantastic move. The decision to not trade for, to not bring back Alex Bregman has looked like a very good move. And like, even though Durbin, you could still probably call that trade a loss right now because Harrison was really good, though struggling towards the end of his, run before getting hurt.
Right.
That's probably still a loss. but all three of those guys have a higher OPS than Alex Bregman does.
That's right.
So, and Contreras has been better than Pete Alonso. So if you brought in Pete, would you have brought in Contreras? Not to say that Pete wouldn't have done better at Fenway, or you would have been any worse off with Pete, but Contreras has been a better hitter, and we know he's a better first baseman. And he's grown a ton of. They love him in Boston, and we love him too as fans. Like, he's been awesome.
Do we chirp Henry less though now because of the success, or is it he has really nothing to do with it and it happened regardless of whether he owns a team or not?
Well, I thought the I don't know what ownership has to do to prove that they care, because does John Henry care any less than Steve Cohen because Steve Cohen spends more money? The Mets are awful. Does them spending more money mean they care more, or are they just reckless? Granted, they spend a ton of money on Juan Soto. That's going to inflate it a bit. But like, they have a $300+ million payroll, and they're terrible. They just traded Freddie Peralta, who they gave up like Brandon Sproat and other good prospects, and Jet Williams for. And then they flipped him for like 15+ prospects or 15+ ranked prospects in the Rays organization. Like, that's a really bad return on investment.
Well, I think it's just funny. You look at stuff like the Mookie Betts thing, where it's like, okay, you got to trade him. And, is it a money thing? It's like, I was going to go to free agency anyway, so they couldn't have done this, or then COVID happened, and they're like, there might not be a season, take the money. I don't know. There's a lot of factors in that story. But, like, I hate giving John Henry credit, but I think he's done pretty good. I think he's kind of got, like, not like Asperger's or what, I don't know what he's got, but like, social interactions is not his forte at all. It's not like, he just kind of, but like, as far as like watching the games and entertaining, we had the best month of my life,
Yeah. I'm looking again at the tax payroll situation in 2026. The Dodgers are at $430 million. They do business like nobody else. Then there's the Mets at 370. They're 47 and 65. Like, they've spent the second most money according to like tax payroll and penalties. Well, I guess their payroll, technically is $485 million with their repeater tax bill and stuff like that. But
what was the Dodgers?
The Dodgers, their tax payroll is $430.5 million, but with like repeater penalties and stuff, they're at $611 million of payroll. Yeah. Then you have
that's almost as bad as like Golden State Warriors there last year.
Yeah. The Mets are 370. This is just like base tax payroll. I'm not going to include like repeater penalties. 307 million Mets. The Yankees are at 336. The Phillies are at 314. The Blue Jays are at 312. They're selling now. And then there's the Red Sox at $267 million. They're sixth in payroll, in tax payroll. They clearly care. There's just more teams that care now. It's not just the Yankees and Red Sox anymore. Other teams want a seat at the table, and they're landing players. The Red Sox have been involved in a lot of these markets. They just don't end up with a player, for better or worse. They're sixth in payroll, and they're, the seventh best record in baseball right now? Like, clearly they're like, yeah, the team played like shit for the first 3 months of the year, and I don't want to get too carried away and act like that didn't happen, because the last 6 weeks have been awesome. Right. But they are where they are. They're 60 and 51. Like, maybe they know a thing or two about what they're doing. And maybe I'm not going to give John Henry credit, because really at the end of the day, it's his wallet that I'm going to give credit to. But like, Breslow's made some really good moves. He deserves a lot of credit, and the players obviously deserve a ton of credit, and Chad Tracy deserves a ton of credit as well. And then,
I think the big thing that I noticed is Chad Tracy. I really like that. I mean, everybody knew he was lying, but he basically said, Duran was just talking to himself with the Contreras thing, and it was like, everybody knows that that's not what happened. But Chad Tracy was totally like, no, everything's cool. Don't worry about it. I'll toe the company line here. It's okay. Chad Tracy's done an amazing job with his team. And I don't know what else he could do at this point to make sure that he is not the manager next year.
Yeah, he's been awesome. I would hate for them to not remove the interim tag. Now, part of me still wants them to interview for the position just to see what's out there. But also, if they make the playoffs, I have a hard time seeing them not just stripping the interim tag from him. He's been fantastic,
Yep.
and he knows the core of this team, and he knows the veteran core of this team now. They really like him.
Yep.
They've responded to him. They're 16 games of over 500 with him.
Yeah.
After, like that's crazy. Like this team fired half their coaching staff in April. So not even to just give credit to Chad Tracy, but like all the other guys that they have brought from various parts of the minor league system, like Chad Epperson at third base coach, and was it Pablo Cabrera as their first base coach, and they brought up oh my god, Drew Earhart as he's now like in their bullpen. He's like their bullpen catcher now. They brought up like a bunch of dudes from like random parts of the minor leagues, and they've like really kind of overhauled the entire season. It took a little bit of time to get things going. They ended up again 700-500 through the first 6 weeks of this new regime. But since then they've taken off. They have a whole new identity. A lot of these guys are guys that played for Chad Tracy in April down in Worcester, so they know him. They feel comfortable. The veterans are responding well to these guys being around. And then again, oh, by the way, no Garrett Crochet and no Roman Anthony. You get either or both of those guys back. That's another deadline acquisition in and of itself, even if it's delayed. I mean, we're not that far removed for Schwarber being 2 weeks post-deadline where you actually got to see him. So if Roman Anthony comes back on August 20th, I will treat that like a deadline acquisition, as it should be.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this team's ridiculous right now, and I really hope that like it's cliche to say that a team is more deserving of deadline reinforcements than another team, but so help me God if Craig Breslow doesn't make something, I don't want to say significant, because that is where you end up in AJ Preller territory with being reckless, and you end up losing the Juan Soto trade twice because of AJ Preller. But like if he doesn't do, like, again, I'll use the guy that I want for sake of argument. Like if he doesn't bring in Springer or somebody Springer adjacent, like a righty power bat that can DH and maybe play the field every once in a while, and one arm. It doesn't even have to be a starter or reliever specifically. Just one guy to shore up either part of the staff. He has done a tremendous disservice to this team, and I really hope that he does not get tunnel vision and like fixate on getting a star and end up panicking in the final 30 minutes and end up with fucking Dustin May again. I'll lose my mind. Although May's been good this year, so maybe if it's May specifically again, I won't be as mad. But don't be like, we have to trade for Otto Lopez, and then it's 5:35 and it ends up being fucking Nicky Lopez. Instead, I'll lose my mind. Nick Madrigal becomes a Boston Red Sox. Like I'll flip my lid. Don't do anything stupid.
I hope not.
But yeah. So yeah, Red Sox win 8-4, finish off the sweep. Any final thoughts on the series before we preview the White Sox series?
No, I hope it's a preview for the World Series.
Fun. That'd be fun. I'm selfishly I'm a little terrified at that matchup with presumably a healthy Ohtani and then Tarik Skubal taking the ball in Game 1 with Yamamoto in Game 2.
Bring it. If I'm the best, I want to beat the best.
No, you're right. You're right. I just wouldn't hate if another team beat the Dodgers. Therefore, I could lie and say
watch
that team was the best.
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a letdown. It's going to be like the '86 Celtics, against the Houston Rockets, or you're going to be like, what the hell's going on here? Like, how did this team something's going to happen, And hey, you know what? I mean, the Red Sox picked
Pittsburgh
a good
Pirates
year.
Cinderella run.
Yeah. But it's funny. Like the White Sox, I think they lost 100 games in a row back-to-back years, and now with their record now, I think they have like the biggest turnaround. I think somebody said since like the 1974 Texas Rangers or some weird stat. The White Sox, it's like, oh, the White Sox are good. I'm like, the White Sox are never good. Really? They're good? Holy shit.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be okay. Like, I thought they'd win like 75 games this year.
Yeah.
Again, for a team that lost 100 in consecutive years, 75 wins may as well be 95. But they're on pace for like 90 this year. They've been really good. They're probably going to win the American League Central.
They probably will.
Complete letdown in the second half. And that's the series the Red Sox draw out of the post deadline. How's that for a segue? Post-deadline, first series at home against the Chicago White Sox. The Red Sox have done us a favor and announced 0 starters for this series.
Punks.
So I'll give you start times and the White Sox 3. So game 1 is Tuesday. Red Sox throwing our good old friend TBD on the mound against Davis Martin. Martin's 9-5 with a 3.62 ERA. Again, that game's at 7:10. Wednesday, Sean Burke on the mound for the White Sox. He's 7-5 with a 3.04 ERA. Red Sox throwing TBD out there 2 days in a row. I hope his arm is still back. And then game 3, the White Sox newest acquisition, Luis Castillo. They just acquired him from the Mariners. That was a pretty gutsy move on their part, absorbing that entire contract.
Wow.
A guy who's got a 5.06 ERA. He's been really bad this year. 3-9 is his win-loss record. That's also at 7:10 on Thursday, and for the third day in a row, the Red Sox throwing out TBD. Very, very curious how the deadline goes tomorrow, because if they do something significant, oh my lord, is the vibe of the ballpark Tuesday going to be ridiculous? Ridiculous. Brian, how's this series go for the Red Sox?
I don't know. I got that broom in my hand. I've been having that broom in my hand like every time we do a podcast now, and people are like, "That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous." It's like it's not ridiculous anymore. I want sweep, but I mean, I got to be on the conservative side. Say 2 out of 3. I think is the way to do it.
I'll be the greedy one here.
Okay.
I have a feeling the Red Sox are going to do something fairly significant tomorrow. I don't think they're going to trade Arias. I think Ianson might be on the table, but I don't think they trade Franklin Arias. But I do think they do something very, very exciting tomorrow. I'm gonna even call my shot. It's gonna be around 2 p.m. They're going to make a big trade.
Okay.
I'm calling my shot now. Derek and I will be on stream for that starting at noon Eastern. So tune in to that. It'll be on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. So wherever you get your streams from there, feel free to drop in, say hi, talk shop with us, keep us entertained, because we are going to be snoozing if it's another slow deadline. But I think the Red Sox should do something significant tomorrow. The vibe of the ballpark's going to be money on Tuesday, and if it's George Springer, anytime home run is going to be such free money on Tuesday. I will be throwing like $10 down on Springer anytime home on Tuesday.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm taking a sweep here. No idea who the Sox are starting in any of these games. But I don't like Luis Castillo. He's barbecue chicken at this point. That's a win. That's a free win. They already beat Davis Martin once, and I think Sonny's going to get one of these games. I'm sure that one of these games is going to probably be an opener in Bayo, but if it's an opener in Bayo, as long as the opener doesn't give up 6 runs, Bayo is going to pitch 7 shutty, because that's what does the reliever. And then that leaves us probably Ranger for a game. Or Patrick Sandoval will probably get one of these games. So we'll see. But I'm gonna get greedy. We're going sweep here, and the Red Sox will be 12 games over 500 by the time the weekday show records. That's ridiculous. A 26.
Good time to be alive. Yep.
Great time to be alive. But any final thoughts? I know that we're pushing midnight and we're both tired.
Yeah. No, I think you summed it up. I hope this isn't the high point of the year podcast wise. I hope we can ride this all throughout the rest of the summer and a deep playoff run. Because a couple months ago, Jordan, doing some of these podcasts, there wasn't a lot to talk about. I mean, there was a lot to talk about. But we didn't talk about the games. We talked about the stuff that we didn't like watching. We talked about the problems. We talked about how bad the team was. We're talking about a different team right now. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's been so much fun. I really, really, like you said, I hope that this continues into the final, 6 to 8 weeks of the regular season into the playoffs. I love the Red Sox. Fenway has not hosted a playoff game since 2021. I have not been to a playoff game since 2018. So I was out in Arizona the last time the Sox were in the playoffs. So I am very much hoping for them to, at the very least, host the wild card round. But I would be damned if I didn't mention the Sox should have their eyes set on the division. They're only 5 back. Five back. And they were 16 back at one point, no? So they've surged 11 games in the standings in the span of 6 weeks. You're telling me in the last 8 weeks they can't pick up 5 more? Like, I don't think they'll win the division. I think ultimately the Rays will sputter, the Yankees will overtake, the Sox will then pass the Rays, and it'll be Yankees, Sox, Rays. So the Sox will host the first wild card, host the wild card round.
Yep.
But damn it, I'll be damned if I don't at least acknowledge the division is very much in play. So have a deadline tomorrow. That would be a hell of a lot of fun, and it's a brand new year on August 4th. So yeah, that'll do it again for this edition of the Pesky Report, episode 606, presented by Beyond the Monster and TJ Stats. Promo code Pesky over there, tjstats.ca, 25% off your first month. For Brian, I'm Jordan. Until next time, peace out and go.
Like, this is called the Pesky Report. Like,